Hello everyone and welcome to episode 144 of the Xbox 4 Gamers podcast. This week, it's Matt, as usual. I'm going to get into I need to get into the habit of introducing myself. Because it's like, otherwise, I don't know, actually I don't know if I need to, because it's like, realistically, who starts
it's kind of important too.
Who starts at episode 144 and doesn't know who the fuck we are? But okay, yes, hi, I'm Matt, as usual, and this week I'm joined by Shane.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, thank you for joining us, Shane. It's good to see you again. I know.
Oh yeah, there's a really busy news week. I really wanted to be on. You know,
Shane was like, "You have to get me on this week. I have so much to talk about," and I was like, "I don't know."
So much to talk about.
This week, yeah, we're going to talk about basically how quiet it is in the news front because the news is pretty. I mean, we're in gaming season now, so I guess people are busy releasing games, and you know, a lot of this is like release announcements and TA achievement reveals and that kind of stuff, but not necessarily straight up news. We got a question about zombies, but we have been playing a lot this week, so there'll be hopefully a bit of meat to talk about there. But let's get, as always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. We also have a Discord. I would give you the nice easy URL, but it doesn't exist. If you are interested, shoot me a message on TA. Otherwise, if you're on True Achievements, you'll see it as my status. Come say hi, hang out, usual stuff. All right, let's get into our community question that we got this week from Alex, Professor Pluto, who says, "What's the best zombie game, and what's your favorite zombie game?" Which I like that there's a distinction. It doesn't like your favorite doesn't necessarily have to be the best, but there might be one and the same. I don't know, Shane. You play a lot of zombie stuff. You've been playing some spooky stuff for Halloween. Anything in particular pop in your head?
Yeah, Dead Rising 2. Easy.
Yeah, okay. I figured that was gonna. Yeah, I figured it was gonna be one of the Dead Risings. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, what's the other one? Left 4 Dead's great.
Yeah, I think.
What's Dead Island?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Alex reckons Dead Island, obviously. He fucking loves
Dead Rising. Yeah, I love Dead Rising 2. The game is so much fun. It's so, I don't know. I can do it with my eyes closed at this point. I mean, oh, it's such a weird look at American culture through the eyes of Canadian studio working off a Japanese template.
Yeah, it is kind of perfect.
Chaos. Right? Love it.
I mean, the best zombie game might be The Walking Dead Season 1, maybe.
Yeah, like writing wise, I mean, there's not like gameplay there.
No,
man.
Yeah. I think
hashtag Mike Clementine, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know a lot of people would say like Dying Light. I know a lot of people really, really enjoy that series. They're like the zombies and the
Mirror's Edge with zombies, yeah.
Yep. There's the whole like Zombie Army trilogy stuff. I'm kind of looking at a list of like things that have zombies. I don't count the Call of Duty games as zombie games because they have zombie modes. But
I was about to say Call of Duty Zombies is probably the most popular, but we count that as a zombie game.
I mean,
a mode.
I guess that has been the thing that's been holding up the series quite a bit, and some of the more recent titles is like the zombies is the thing people play for. But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm with you though.
I think of like.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like critically and through the community, like what would be the best zombie game? Like if I think horror, I'm thinking like Dead Space, but is that zombies?
Yeah, necromorphs, I guess space zombies. I mean, you obviously go back to like Resident Evil 2 and that kind of stuff. I think is.
Oh, Resident Evil, duh. Yeah, Resident Evil.
I think Resident Evil 2 is probably. Well, actually, maybe 4 doesn't really count because they're not really zombies. But I'd say Resident Evil 2, the remake.
Yeah, I think Resident Evil 2 remake is probably the
best.
I would say, yeah, I think most critics would agree it's probably the best zombie game.
Yeah.
I feel like.
But I'm with you. I think that Dead Rising 1 or 2 are probably my favorite zombie games. I like 1's environment a bit more. I like the kind of more Day of the Dead. Was it Day of the Dead? There was anyway. I can't remember which one it was.
But Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Sorry. Yes.
Yep.
The Dawn of the Dead style, like just the more really interesting kind of environments, fun, weird psychopaths. I think that Dead Rising 2 is definitely a better game, like mechanically and kind of how they structure it.
Yeah.
But I just I like the Frank West kind of angle of it because I feel like the story in 2 is just not as interesting.
It's a more intimate story, I guess you could say.
Sure.
The gameplay is a lot simpler, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with the Deluxe Rising.
Yeah.
Or the Deluxe Remaster. Peak.
Yeah, I need to probably pick that up actually because
it's like a 13-hour completion, man. Just do it.
Yeah, I may just pick it up. I will give a little bit of a hint. for the ideas that we're having for our next monthly, bi-monthly, bi-ministerial. I can't remember what the amazing thing that Keo came up with. I really should write it down. That we write it every 2 months. But the theme for November and December, I think, is probably going to be, oh shit, I didn't buy this game for Game of the Year talk. I need to fucking play it now. I'll come up with a better thing, maybe Game of the Year grab bag or something, but it's probably going to be me buying a shitload of games of like, oh shit, we're going to be chatting about this in a month or two. Let's fucking
Some good ones again.
There are some, yeah. I think it's a smaller list than last year, but I think it's still there's some stuff on there that I really do want to play.
A banger a year for video games, to be fair. So
hard to compete for sure. Yeah, I think Dead Rising 2 is a good shout. I think maybe like Off the Record is probably the best version of that. I like having the infinite mode.
Yes, but it's not canon, sadly.
No.
But yes, Dead Rising Off the Record mechanically is probably the best Dead Rising in my opinion.
It also has a much better achievement.
Because I don't like how Dead Rising 3 goes, and then 4 is.
Yeah, I
we don't talk about 4.
We don't talk about 4.
So.
Right? But yeah, it's not Dead Island. Alex, no matter what you say, unfortunately. But you're probably not going to hear this.
Or 2's good though.
So, I'm enjoying Dead Island 2. I need to go back and now that Brad has emerged from the woodwork, we need to get the crew back together and actually start working on that game again because we got to like maybe 2/3 of the way through it and then just fell off. So there's also a shitload of DLC for that game too. I need to pick up. Keeping on the horror theme though. We got a kind of surprise announcement. I mean, somewhat of a surprise. It was definitely like a surprise, but Alien Isolation sequel, basically they confirmed that it's in development at Creative Assembly. Early development, so I'm not expecting to see it anytime soon, but it is the 10-year anniversary of that game coming out, which is crazy to me.
It's like we are working on it. It is a thing we are doing, and that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, they kind of released a little thing, basically. It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously with the success of Alien Romulus and the director of that game also being inspired quite heavily, he said, from Isolation. It's maybe not a huge surprise, probably Alien having a bit of a resurgence. But yeah, I mean,
Romulus has got good reviews compared to the last two.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely liked it more than Prometheus, that's for sure.
Oh, you saw it. How was it?
Yeah, Romulus was good. It kind of jumps the shark in a ridiculous way towards the end.
Oh man!
Like, I was really hoping it was going to stay a bit more grounded. Like it has definitely elements of the original Alien and Aliens, but then it just kind of goes into like full ridiculous mode towards the end. But visually looks amazing.
That's
yeah.
Is it like actually creepy?
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely like, I mean, there's definitely a few scenes where you're like, man, that's pretty fucked. Like there's some. It definitely has some of the horror elements in there. And there's some interesting stuff that happens towards the end as well. Like it's kind of like it's nice world building stuff. It's an integral, right? Because it's set between Alien and Aliens. So it's kind of it has some interesting world building stuff. Which as a guy who likes those games and that series, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been interested in the series. I've only seen Aliens and Alien like once ever. It just wasn't my thing. I played Alien vs. Predator and Aliens Colonial Marines way more than I ever saw the movies. So
yeah,
it's really my touchstone for it.
Yikes.
Did you ever play Alien Isolation?
Yep, played through it 3 times because they did a 360 version, an Xbox One version, and PC version. I did all 3 of them, and they're all fucking great.
Yeesh.
Love those.
It's good?
Oh, so good.
I've always been neat.
I think from a horror perspective, I don't think there's maybe a more perfect horror game that encapsulates kind of that kind of feeling of powerlessness, but not complete. Like it leans a lot in the Amnesia Dark Descent kind of like, hey, monsters are gonna fuck you up, and there's not much you can do about it. But the game has a few more tools to kind of at least so you're not just feeling completely powerless. You can do the distractions, and you do have a gun and that kind of stuff that will kind of maybe, or like, it doesn't like fire. You can hold it off and kind of, but it also learns, and like the AI stuff behind how that alien works is so interesting.
I've heard it's very off-putting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like that thing will torment you.
You just have that. You just feel your stomach just drop out because you're like, you make a noise and you just hear the thud of the alien just running towards you. Like, fuck.
Yeah, I could imagine playing that with the mic activated, like
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
your dog barks to the mailman and suddenly there's an alien up your butt.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know
yeah.
about that.
The new Quiet Place game apparently is taking a bit of a cue out of their book and putting that in there with their microphone stuff, which is kind of interesting.
They sure are.
So
I don't know why anyone would play that with that on.
I don't know.
That
Yeah,
sounds
that
not
just sounds
fun.
like extra fucking headache.
Your air
But
conditioner turns on, you're dead. Like,
yeah,
cool.
great.
Awesome.
You get a fucking text message like, oh well, that's me done. Yeah, but I'm very very excited. I would highly recommend everyone play Alien Isolation. It is maybe a little bit like the latter half of the game is not nearly as good as the first half, but I think overall I think it's really really great. Also visually, I just love the design. Like they nailed the like alien aesthetic of the kind of retro futurism, but not like
I've tested it on
steampunk.
alt, so I played like the first 5, 10 minutes, and yeah, it's you're walking into the first movie. It's
Yeah, it's
wild how well they
crazy how
did
well they
it,
do.
nailing that aesthetic.
There's also the fun stuff with androids too, which is also super scary because they're there's more of them than the alien, but they're yeah, they also don't go down easy. Um, we've also some of the bigger news here. We saw that looks like 343 is done, rebranded, changed. I don't know. They're kind of it's kind of a little unclear, but they've now the studio itself is basically rebranded to Halo Studios with a really awful looking logo. But
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, it's fine. The logos don't really matter. But one of the good things about it, though, is that they also announced that they are working on a bunch of new Halo projects. They're kind of done with Infinite, which again is kind of weird because that was the kind of thing that they were working on. But they've apparently moved to Unreal 5. They're doing some big work there. They said it's a long way out. They've got a lot of work to do, but they are looking like they're working on a number of projects, hopefully big and small. So maybe we see some, maybe we see some more Spartan Assault style games. Maybe we see some more Halo Wars. Maybe we see
Yeah,
all
something like
kinds of
that.
interesting things. I don't know. I would love to play. Like the one of the biggest problems with Halo is that like it doesn't really. The series is quite slow to come out, and I mean all games take a long time to develop now. But I don't know. What are you thinking about the Halo, Shane?
I've never been super into Halo. I've only done the two games that have not really necessity, but they were available, like Halo Reach and the Collector's Edition, the first game, whatever it's called.
Combat
Um,
Evolved.
Combat Evolved,
Yeah,
but like the anniversary,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
on
On
360.
360. Yeah.
Um, but I know they're popular, so I'm sure this is part of, again, Infinite. I've heard Infinite's good, but it didn't set the world on fire like they probably needed it to.
Yeah.
And then, God, that TV show,
Yeah.
oof. So I'm sure somebody at Microsoft finally started cracking the whip. Like, this is Xbox. This Halo is Xbox.
Yeah.
We need this to hit better. And I wonder how long this rebrand has been in the works behind the scenes, because I don't really keep up on Infinite. I don't think they've done a I'm sure they've done seasons and
Yeah.
events
They
and
they
stuff,
did
but
a
I don't
few,
think
but they've kind
a
of
lot's been done.
yeah, they kind of. I'm not gonna say they abandoned it, but they definitely did not put as much support behind it as people were expecting.
Yeah.
And now that like 343
And
basically got gutted, they got rid of most of the leadership. Most of them are gone. And
mhm.
this is kind of a new team, new engine, new kind of direction for the company. We'll see kind of how it all ends up, but I'm definitely curious. I mean, one of the rumored things is that they're
Oh yeah.
the kind of the big test bed that they're using the Unreal 5 engine for is a remake of Halo CE to kind of first of all get people invested in the nostalgia of kind of like, oh hey, we built this new engine and here's a game that already exists. We'll just kind of redo it again. I'm certainly interested.
Again.
The video stuff that they released looks really really good. Like visually, looks
Really good.
incredible. Yeah, I mean how it looks when it's playing, how the frame rate holds up, how modern hardware deals with it. Probably another question, but yeah,
Do you think this comes out for current consoles, or do you think this is far enough out where it might hit whatever Xbox has planned for the next generation?
I feel like the next Halo is probably like the next like mainline like Halo 6 or whatever they end up calling it is probably going to be next gen at this point, or like it or
Yeah,
cross gen
I
maybe.
agree.
But I think that maybe they get a couple of other smaller projects out in the meantime to keep people invested and remind people that Halo exists.
Do something.
Yeah,
I'm speaking of Dead Space, or Dead Rising. I always loved that they did Case West or Case Zero.
yeah,
before Dead Rising 2 came out.
Yeah,
Like I was so hoping that more developers would release demos that are games.
yeah,
And
small
yeah, it'd
little
be cool to
things.
get some kind of Halo game where you're just clearing out a spaceship. Like, oh, you got like 3 levels and it's in the new engine and just looks, you know,
Yeah,
put a little small side team on it, give some
yeah.
extra
Put out some like
achievements.
do
But
yeah like do a little like firefight style. Like doesn't have to be story heavy stuff. Just some gameplay stuff. I think people would really
mm,
enjoy it. You know.
like Battlefield 1943. That's not a
Yeah,
Battlefield game, but it's a Battlefield game, you know?
yeah, exactly. Like sort of pared down. I'm hoping that we get some more sort of interesting stuff there. They also said that now that they've switched to Unreal 5 engine, they're going to potentially get some more talent because now that they don't have to teach people to build in their own slip space engine. I think is what
Yeah,
the old
I
one was
bet.
called. So now it's like, hey, yeah, do you know how to work in Unreal 5? Guess what? You can join us, which is great. Uh, but apparently they are looking to still support Halo Infinite with some Forge mode stuff and some operations and other bits and pieces. But I feel like that game has been winding down
Yeah.
for a little bit. And to your point, yeah, I really feel like it just didn't hit the way they needed it to. I feel like Microsoft's having a problem with that recently. Like none of their big exclusive stuff has really set the world on fire in a way that they were really hoping for.
I mean, if we want to get to the discussion of the whole Concord debacle and everything, I has much like really hit in the
Yeah,
way that something like Fortnite has. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, like
not
PlayStation
really.
seems to be having some some success with stuff like Astrobot, obviously being a real critical darling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, and you get stuff like I guess I'm trying to think. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima obviously did well. They're doing a sequel. It's been a little while. Spider-Man obviously was big for them. Spider-Man 2 not so much. I mean, it apparently did well, but again, the games are very, very expensive.
Oh yeah, no, exclusive wise, like single player exclusives. Yeah, PlayStation's been doing really great, but now they're like 8 years behind and starting to focus on games as a service. But I don't feel like any of those have hit since. When's the last one that really hit?
Helldivers
Was
is
it
really
like
the only one, and that was this year. But outside of that,
Helldivers, Helldivers, Rainbow Six Siege before
Siege
that? Like
before
it's
that,
not
yeah,
often. I mean,
it's a hard one. It's a real hard one, and
so
it doesn't sound like many. I mean, it doesn't sound like I think we'll talk a little about Ubisoft in a minute, but like other avenues in that are just not working out.
yeah.
It's people only have limited time, and it's really hard to get cut through and get people interested.
Yeah, I think a really solid Halo 6. Is that what they're on? Halo
Yeah,
6?
Halo 6, yeah,
That
would
would
technically be, I guess. Oh,
Well,
Halo.
Infinite was technically 6. Like I know it's got an online component, but there was a storyline, right?
Well, yeah, I guess I mean
So
like Halo, yeah,
technically,
like Infinite has a story, and not many people kind of talk about it.
yeah.
So I guess
So Halo 7.
Halo 6
So
or 7, I guess whatever you want again, whatever they end up calling
yeah,
it. But
pick a good solid one. I mean, people like Halo multiplayer. I'd be willing to bet Infinite's doing better than us gamers are giving it credit for.
sure,
I'm sure it's still doing fine. It's Halo. People like Halo.
yeah,
So,
there isn't
but
really anything
yeah,
else
like I
out
said,
there
it
that
didn't.
plays like Halo does.
Yeah, which is why I don't like it.
Yeah, which is
Every
fair
time I
enough.
play
Like
Halo, I'm like, this
like
isn't
Halo
quite
multiplayer is
right.
like Infinite playing. Going back and playing Halo multiplayer for Master Chief Collection was something that I was like I really enjoyed actually, and so I've considered actually starting up Infinite and maybe just kind of playing it. I don't think there's going to be much more content for it, but I kind of feel like that. Yeah, like we were saying, they kind of dropped the ball on a lot of the stuff. Like Halo Infinite had a good launch, but wasn't really well supported. You've got Redfall obviously not doing well. Another news story this week was around Shattered Space coming out for Starfield,
Yep.
and reviews not being super great for it. I don't know. It seems pretty middle of the road for
Which I think has been the general consensus for Starfield.
yeah, just kind of like a
Bethesda wise. Like
relatively average game. Yeah,
yeah.
like middle.
Which
Yeah,
is sad because I didn't one of the developers came out and was like, this is like our best game we've ever made. And I'm sure it is clearly a work of passion and the technology behind it's very impressive. It just didn't hit like it needed to.
no, it really did not. Yeah, it was. I'll see if I can find the story. Yeah, the design director said that it's Bethesda's best game, quote unquote, in a lot of ways, which I can kind of see. Like, I think
I bet.
from like a technical point of view, there is a lot of interesting stuff that they did with that game. The procedural generation
Hmm.
and kind of the work they did with having a brand new IP that they were building and that kind of stuff. But I think that overall, most of those things were to its detriment as opposed to its benefit, unfortunately. And I don't think that that's going to change. If they do a Starfield 2, maybe we'll see what they kind of do. But again, I'm not holding my breath for that, considering they got an Elder Scrolls 6 to work on.
And I'm sure they'll do more DLC for Starfield 1 for
Probably,
now.
probably. I mean, I feel like
What's
I don't know because Shattered
Most of
Space was
these
the one that
games, they're
announced.
usually like four
Yeah, usually
DLCs,
Bethesda
four
usually
add-ons
shows about
around. So
3 or 4 DLCs. Although I thought like Skyrim didn't have a huge amount of DLC. I think it only had like two, because they had like Dawnguard
yeah,
and whatever the other one was. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see. I do want to play the DLC, but I'm also not going to spend like $50 on it because apparently it's like 4 hours of content for $50. Like, bro,
absolutely not.
that's a real hard ask. If it's on a good discount, I'll probably pick it up. Maybe probably like 50% off
It's like
though.
in this economy, no way.
Yeah, you got to be really good these days to be able to I've been looking at like all the stuff I need to pick up for Game of the Year and things I want to play, and fuck me, games are expensive, and they're just not going on sale as much as they used to. Um, we've also got our last story here about another story about Ubisoft. We've talked in the last couple of weeks around how Ubisoft are kind of in a really not great spot. They've, Star Wars Outlaws was a bit of a failure for them. It sounds like they're worried about Assassin's Creed, and so they've delayed it to February. And X Defiant is apparently not doing super great at the moment. It's kind of underperforming, and they already had pretty soft expectations for it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
there's talk around again. The share price is way down. It's at like 10% of what it was a few years ago. And so apparently Tencent and the Guillemot family are looking at potentially buying up the rest of the shares and taking it private again, which I guess
which
I don't know. I don't think it's going to make any difference to them really.
I mean, my only problem with the story is the fact Tencent's involved. I mean, it's bad enough they have like a 9% share in Ubisoft and a lot of the other developers
Yeah.
and the whole CCP of it all, but I don't know, man. I really don't know much about Guillemot. Guillemot. I don't know. I know he's the head. I didn't realize he had a whole LTD and everything else going
Yeah.
on.
So I mean, their whole family is basically involved in they have the controlling voting share of the company, right? So they're the ones who dictate the direction
Yeah,
of it currently.
like 20%, I think.
Yeah, something along those
So
lines. And I think Tencent have a part ownership in that LLC, so it's kind of a weird thing. But anyway,
gross.
it sounds like, I mean, now's a good time to buy, I guess, if you want to get a cheap company because the valuation has dropped it by 90%. So it cost you, I think
This
it's
is
just
not financial advice.
no, very
House
much not.
Hall of Gamers do not.
Yeah,
Hall of Gamers do not.
absolutely
Nope.
not. Buy Bitcoin. Buy Dogecoin. No. I don't know. I think it's. I mean, I guess if you got to spare 2 billion and you want to buy a whole company, I don't know. I just feel like Ubisoft's going to get more in the whole. It just doesn't feel like they have a good rope or plan or anything to be like, yeah, and this is how we're going to unfuck ourselves. I mean,
Yeah,
there was another
no.
story a couple of weeks ago that they're apparently planning on putting out 10 Assassin's Creed games in the next 5 years.
Which was our whole complaint about them, what, 5, 6 years ago,
Yeah,
around Syndicate? Like they were just pumping those things out
yeah.
yearly at that point. Multiples of them. And we're like, take a break. And they did. And Origins came out. And it was great. And they took another break. And then Odyssey came out. It was also great. And then Valhalla came out, and people were a little sketchy on that, but it was supposed to be still a good
It
game.
sold super well, but still, it's been
Yeah.
years since
And
then.
now they're like, oh, let's do it again. And guys,
They were like,
you're
hey, we
not getting
paid
the
James
right lessons
Cameron a
from
shitload
these.
of money for this Avatar IP. We should definitely make something out of that. And apparently, I highly doubt that paid
And
off.
Star Wars.
And Star Wars, right? Like, I feel like they just kind of have gone from and then let's not even talk about Skull and Bones and all that kind of fucking debacle that came out earlier this year.
Oh, the quadruple A game?
Yeah, like I
Didn't
just
that sell gangbusters, I thought?
they can't. They just can't get a win. And I feel like a lot of that is down to the Guillemot family just not doing the right thing and not greenlighting the right projects. And so I feel like them taking this private is probably only going to make things worse as opposed to better. They're going to have less voices.
Yeah, they
telling them
seem
to do good things.
rudderless.
Yeah.
It's just Ubi again. We discussed this, I think, last time I was on. It's just an Ubisoft game. Like everyone knows what to expect, and besides little gems like the most recent Prince of Persia, I mean, no one really like they're not they don't sell badly, but I don't think they're hitting the numbers they want them to, or they used to, or that they expect.
Not for a
I think
company that
Siege might have
size.
broken them a little bit
Yeah.
on the whole I don't know. We've always been over this where these CEOs and owners and stuff don't really understand what's going on. So I'm sure they're still looking at those Siege numbers and going, "Man,
Why can't we
why are we
just do that
making that?
again?
What's
Yeah.
going on?" Yeah. And so they do X-Defiant. And I did it. It's a cool shooter, but I'm not into shooters, so I can't really speak much to it. But it seemed like a shooter. I don't know. And clearly it didn't get the audience it really needed.
Mm.
So uh,
Yeah.
I I don't know what they're gonna do.
I feel like things are going to get worse over Ubisoft before they get better. But
I think that's true for the whole industry for the moment,
true. Very true. But yeah, I
except
just
for Nintendo, because
apparently
they're like, "Hey, here's an alarm clock."
oh, Jesus Christ. Here's an alarm clock that only works if you're single. I don't know if you know if you
So
so,
funny. Yeah, that's definitely for kids, clearly, or
yeah.
teenagers or single people. I'm not sure, but and I find it funny that most of the Western world's making fun of it, but they had like shut down sales in Japan because it was selling out so fast.
Yeah, so
Like
it sold out in like
clearly,
4 seconds. It was
Nintendo knows what they're
crazy.
doing.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, Nintendo knows what they're doing. Come on, man. Like, don't doubt them.
Oh
But
man.
it's so funny. But I'm sure they're not worried about struggling at all. They got the Mario movie, and they got the Switch is still selling like stupid amounts, and all
Got
the
a new
games they
Switch
make
coming
are
out. They've got
good,
yeah,
and just
exactly. They've got a good pipeline of games coming in. Maybe we should just move over to the Switch. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I just worry. It's just
welcome to Switch Gamers.
yeah, exactly.
We are talking about the newest stamps you can get in your something
Animal
book
Crossing. I
and
don't know. I
Switch.
just I haven't played a Switch game in a long time.
It's been a long time. Well, I know I do Minecraft, but I just jump on there and jump in a server and get a few achievements every time.
Yeah,
So
that's. I don't think that counts. But yeah, that's kind of all the news this week. It's been a real quiet week. I'm just kind of looking over the headlines to see if there's anything else to kind of talk about. Tomb Raider 4
we
and
got another.
4 through
I was
6.
about to say that. Yep.
Yeah, Tomb Raider 4 through 6 got announced, so they're doing a remaster from Aspire. So again, hopefully it isn't broken, but that's cool that they're doing more
Which
of them.
honestly, yeah. What is I click this? What is Tomb Raider 4 through 6? I know
Uh,
what 1 and 3 are.
yeah,
The Last
it's
Revelation, Chronicles, and the
Angel
Angel
of
of
Darkness.
Darkness.
Yeah,
I
Angel of
have not
Darkness was
heard good things about those.
no, yeah, Angel of Darkness in particular was very bad. Uh,
Yeah, that's. I think that was like the death knell for the series until they kind of try to reboot it with Anniversary and then Legends, I
Legends,
want to
and
say,
then Under
and then the reboot happened.
yeah,
So,
Underworld or whatever it was called, the one with Thor.
oh,
Yeah,
Underworld, yeah, that too.
yeah. So that kind of new trilogy there. So I guess this, yeah, they're remastering the second trilogy. I mean, there's an old tidbit where the reason why there was so many good like crazy death animations for Lara in Angel of Darkness was that they were planning on killing her off at the end of the thing and just ending the series. So
Oh,
yeah,
well, they probably should have, to be fair.
yeah. But I mean, I feel like the new TV series is out by the way on Netflix. Apparently, it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a shot, and
The anime, yep.
maybe we'll talk about it on Lights, Camera, and Action if we ever get back to that.
Oh yeah, that's true. We should watch the movie too.
Yes,
What is it? Three of them?
two of
There's the
them, I
two
think.
Angelina
Oh,
Jolies,
yes,
and
and
then
then the most recent one that's based on the
Mhm.
reboot.
which I heard was very okay.
Yeah, Aspire is doing a lot of work at the moment. They've also just announced that they're doing they're bringing back Star Wars Episode One Jedi Power Battles, which is a game that I rented
Nice.
and have fond memories of as a
Yeah, a
kid.
lot of love for like N64 era Star Wars games for
Yeah,
some reason.
which is great. Like that's
And
I'm fine by that.
they also fixed Bounty Hunter, I think it is.
Yes, they
Because
fixed the
those
achievement for
games are
Bounty
usually
Hunter.
broken, don't they? Come
Yeah,
out.
they always come out fucking broken. I mean, Battlefront
Yeah.
in particular was broken. So
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that's kind of that's pretty much it. It's pretty quiet out there at the moment. We're Microsoft are giving away a new Indiana Jones Great Circle and the Great Circle Xbox. Uh,
I wish that game would hurry and come out. It's
yeah,
like, man, can November hurry and come? Because I really want to see like I want to make sure that we don't fall into fascism in this country, and also like is Indiana Jones gonna do okay? I
I
really
don't
hope
know.
so.
I really what's what coming like December 6th, I think
That
they
old
said or
Nazi
something.
puncher.
Like that's a really late
Yes.
release. It's basically the
Yeah.
last week you can release a game. So yeah. Oh, and yeah, Diablo
Should be
4's new
interesting.
DLC, Vessel of Hatred, came out as well. Been kind of itching to play that a little bit. Although Keo is very, very keen on it, so maybe we'll get the gang back together and run through it.
You're not excited for the Shrek DLC for Power Wash Simulator?
Apparently it's good. I mean, we do have someone who just
That is
finished
a
it.
game I 100% mean to get to. So
Yeah, I keep thinking about playing Power Wash Simulator. Actually, it's I don't know. I might just buy it. Who knows? I don't know because they keep releasing DLC for it. It feels like it's got no plans on slowing down the release schedule because they've got so many cross. It's got as many cross media things as fucking Smash Brothers at this point. It's crazy.
it's awesome. Like you can go and watch some Midgard facility and oh also Tomb Raider's house and SpongeBob's house and Shrek's house. Like
Fucking
that's awesome. Oh, and the
140K
DeLorean
stuff.
I
Yeah,
think is
it's
one of them.
nuts. Yeah.
Cool. Good for them.
That's works out, I suppose. Um, yeah, but that's pretty much it for the news. So I guess we'll get into some Game Pass stuff. It's the 12th while we're recording this, so we're kind of right on the cusp of when the next announcements of what's it joining and leaving. But we recently had Mad Streets join, which apparently is a nice easy completion, although it's not a very good game. And Inscription also just joined, which I highly, highly recommend. A very,
Yeah,
very good,
I'm definitely eyeing that one.
yeah, very, very good sort of card roguelike game, but with a real interesting twist on it in a way that even I enjoyed it, and I don't like roguelites, so I would definitely, definitely recommend it. Leaving, we've got
Unbox.
Scorn,
Even
Everspace.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, which is crazy. So it's a glowing recommendation. Leaving, we've got Scorn, Everspace 2, From Space, F1 Manager 2023, and Dyson Sphere program on Windows. You probably only have time to do Scorn at this point, so if you do want to jump on that, do it quickly.
Yeah.
Everspace 2 I love, but is also quite a long completion and kind of wears out its welcome a little bit. But I will be talking about the DLC. Speaking of DLC, we also have our monthly theme, which is And Stay Down for September and October. Yes, I know that's 2 months, but we want to give people more time to do these. Where you want to be playing your title updates and just your DLCs for your backlog. So you get those games done. Maybe get those games back that you're thinking about, like, oh, actually, I need to get my completion percentage back up, or they've been ruining it with all these title updates. So your Vampire Survivors, your Human Fall Flats, that kind of stuff, get in there, post them on the Discord. And let us know what you think. Let's get into what we've been playing then. I'll just basically say I've been playing a lot of DLC this week. Like, I've been jumping all over the place. It's been real, real busy. But Shane, you've been doing a whole Spooktober.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing spooky times. Which is funny enough because you mentioned earlier, but it started technically at the end of September with The Walking Dead Season 2, which was leaving Game Pass.
Ah, yes.
So I jumped on that real quick on the Windows version. I apparently hadn't done that, shockingly enough.
That's weird. Yeah.
Barely paid attention to that. Game's great. If you haven't played it, like, do so. But this is like the third time I played that game.
Yeah,
So I
know what you mean. I've been
I
banned from
literally,
playing that game in my house now because Allison is tired of seeing fucking The
I mean,
Walking
I
Dead.
would make a choice, watch TV, look, does
Yeah.
it need me? Nope, keep going.
Oh, a
Because
zombie got
if
me. I
you
should probably
ignore it,
restart that.
if you ignore it, it'll pick something for you.
Yeah.
Like it'll do the quiet option. So my Clementine was very quiet. In her teenage years, she got very sassy. So a lot of face. She was giving a lot of face the whole time. But yeah, I blew through that. I decided to do Scorn, which was a weird. That game was
Yep.
very strange game.
Yes.
If you know anything about H.R. Geiger, this is like his masturbatory dream. Like he would have loved this if he wasn't alive, the weirdo.
Yep.
I remember hearing the combat was really hated, but I really didn't have too much problem with it.
I mean, it was bad. Like,
It was
it felt like it didn't really add anything to the game.
it felt unnecessary, I'll give you
Yeah.
that. But when I had to do it, I never struggled to just like kill the thing and keep going, or just run past them,
Yeah,
which
there
works
is.
great
I
too.
feel like a lot of people don't feel comfortable with just kind of like it's like being able to just like not kill the enemy. They see it on screen, like which I kind of get. It's kind of a
Uh,
learned
I
behavior.
was I was just at a friend's house and I was playing. She has Silent Hill 2, and they're like, "Oh, let's watch you play it." So I did get to play that a little bit on PS5, and it was the same thing where I kept stopping to kill everything. I'm like, I don't. Why am I doing this? I'm not playing this for real.
Yeah.
I'll never play it again probably, and I don't need to kill these things. But whatever, it's the same thing that happened. And that's when I started my spooky month. So my plan is to at least do one horror game a day, which means they are going to probably be garbage because I
Yep.
am an adult with adult responsibilities and a job. So the games have to be upper end, maybe 5 hours if I'm feeling real spunky that night, but
Sure.
usually an hour or two. So not the cream of the crop, let's say. I started. Do you know Puppet Combo?
No.
They make garbage horror games. I
Right,
mean,
I see.
they're great aesthetic wise, but they are all that 80s slasher murder horror VHS style games.
Yeah.
So I've been meaning to do a few of those, and I did Blood Wash, which you go to a laundromat and a serial killer's out. The Womb Ripper, ooh,
Right.
real spooky, very blocky. You know what I mean? Um, I did Home Sweet Home. That was
I
the
have
first
done that one.
highlight.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're one of the only people that I know that did that one.
Yep.
So it was a lot better than I expected it to be. I definitely thought it'd be hot garbage. It
Mm-hmm.
was just
It was fine.
spooky. Yeah, it was just fine. Yeah, I was really surprised how well it was made. It also made me go read up on some Thai folklore,
Mm.
so I knew what the heck was going on. I'm like, why is this giant one-eyed guy chasing me around? They're acting like I should know this, but I don't. Um, After I did that, I had a person on TA suggest Lamentum because they're like,
Oh
hey,
yes, yes.
play something good.
Yep.
Yep. I looked into it and I'm like, oh, this is like Games of Gold, which
Yep.
means I own it from that,
Same
rest
reason
in
I played
peace.
it. Yeah.
But yep, it was cool. If you played Signalis, which I did legit, it's another one of those, but you're in a haunted mansion.
Like a mana.
What's we're looking for? Like a Lovecraftian. There we go.
Yeah.
Lovecraftian horrors and stuff. Uh, Easy completion. Knocked it out pretty quick. I'm shocked it's like a two something, 2.7
2.7.
ratio. So
Yeah. I think it's got the
that's
games with gold inflation when people like try
game's
it for a
gold
bit.
bloat.
Yeah.
Yep. I got the next was the delisted Paper Ghost Stories.
Oh, okay.
It's like Paper Mario style,
What the fuck?
but not gameplay wise, just the animation
Oh,
wise.
okay, right, yeah.
It's like not even an hour long. I want to say though, as all these are garbage games, I jumped at least once in every one of these.
Fair.
I am
Yeah.
definitely the kind of person, I'm not spooked easily, but I get into a game. I am the person who will swear that Five Nights at Freddy's is creepy. Like you just got to get into it,
Yeah, for
really
sure.
be there. I did Horror Tale 1 Kidnapper. That was bad. Don't recommend that one. That was not great. That was probably the first time we're like, oh, can't wait to be done with this one. Like I think it's only an hour long. You play as a kid, and you have like 5 maps you could go around to, and you got to find these items while this bunny man is chasing you around.
Right.
And I think it might be random spawn. I couldn't find a guide for the game, so you just kind of wander around, find items. It was okay, kind of boring. Horror Tale 1, I do have Horror Tale 2 to do. Not Horror Tale, that'd be way more fun, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But uh and then I did Reveal, Reveil. Reveal, we'll go with that. Play that one. If you haven't played
Ah.
that was a good one.
Okay. Yeah, Daedalic
Uh
Entertainment.
there
Okay, yeah.
there's like 2 twists in there. Where the first one I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of saw that coming. And then the second one happened, I'm like, I would never have guessed that any day of the week. It
Sweet.
was very cool. Yeah, definitely. Frightenance, what's it called? PT. It's PT.
Got it. Yeah. There's a few of those.
It was creepy.
Like Visage.
Yeah, let me click this one. I think if I'm not mistaken, the biggest surprise for me was it was like it was big. It looked pretty for its size. Yeah, 14 gigs.
Oh.
14 gigs for like a 20-minute game.
That's
So
quite
it's
unusual.
so it's short, but it's pretty. Um, have you heard of the Garten of Ban games?
I can't say I have. That sounds like you just made that up.
Do you know what Poppy's Playtime is? Or Poppy's Playtime.
Vaguely, yeah.
It's the cheap version of that.
Got it.
You're walking around, these weird mascots are trying to kill you.
Right.
It's really off the wall weird. It's made by some, I want to say, Spanish team. No, that was the next game I played. Either way, it was fine enough. The annoying thing about that was there is a glitch with collectibles, either in they how they register, how they respawn when you die. Something's weird, but I had to play it 3 times last night.
Oh,
Wasn't a fan. Yeah, not a fan. Luckily, it's only like I think my completion video is an hour for a quick playthrough, so 3 hours total
not too
to get
bad.
that completion. And I did Evil Inside today. Since I had a party, again, I'm trying to do one a day. So this was 15 minutes. It's like a 15-minute game. It's almost exactly PT. There's no combat, no puzzles really.
You just kind of
You
walk
walk to
around.
a room, you walk through a hallway, you go down to the basement, you all of a sudden you're in the same hallway again. And then sometimes it's red, and sometimes it's blue, and sometimes there's blood. It's pretty dry. But
Oh,
I am gonna try to do some good ones.
I have apparently have played this Evil
Like
Inside game, and I do not remember it.
that's what I remember. Do you remember PT? It's that, but worse.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Actually, I
So
do remember this now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yep. I am gonna try to do some good ones. There's a couple like what's it called? Killer Frequency. I want to
Hmm.
do that one. That's one I want to get to. But these are like getting up to the 5 to 8 hour completion, so those are gonna be weekends only.
If you're looking for something
So
horror related, Firework on Windows is one I would recommend.
is that I have that installed.
Yes. Yep. It's a
It's on Game
it
Pass.
is on Game Pass. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's really straightforward. The only thing is that if you're following a guide, make sure to. I think it's like you need to tab out of the game to make sure the achievements unlock, which is a weird thing. But it's just like it's got a weird
Ah,
delay
but
thing.
it's spooky.
I mean, it's a horror style. Again, like it's a point and click, so it's not like actually horror, but
Yeah,
it's
a gruesome horror. It doesn't have to be like actually scary, but as long as it's
yeah,
the
it's like
theme,
very much like about like ghosts and dead people
sure,
and that kind of stuff.
probably.
Yeah,
Huh. All right. Yeah, I see. I'd love to do like Alien Isolation. I would
yeah,
love to do that. But it's what 20 hours I want to
yeah,
say for
something like that. Yeah.
completion. Yeah, that's kind of a little long. Um, I I have been trying. My mood has been not great. So when I'm usually finishing these and I'm streaming and I've been on camera for every single one of these every day, that gets tiring.
For sure.
But
It's a lot.
I did start jumping back on Castlevania
Oh
because
yeah,
or Bloodstained, sorry,
sure.
Bloodstained, and getting that because I think you did
The
that. I saw
DLC.
you finish that up finally. Yeah.
Yeah, Dominique's Quest. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, Dominic's Curse. So I jumped on that. I
Sorry,
think
yeah, it's based on
Wednesday I
Simon's
finally
Quest,
jumped
I
on
should
that.
say. Yes.
It
Yeah,
sure is.
it basically is.
Like really is. So I jumped on that, finished the first boss. I'll probably do try to catch up on that soon. Um, and then I would like to start maybe doing one of these longer, like really long ones, like Alien Isolation over. Like I finished my easy game or got my horror game out of the way, and now just
Yeah.
do a hard game. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to get your
I'm
thoughts on some
speaking of
of
Castlevania.
those games. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Castlevania, I'm itching to get to that DS collection. Like,
Oh, me too.
ooh, I
Me
want to play
too.
that
I
so
need to
badly.
fucking buy that.
If I had, I've been playing this for a year because my best friend, like, she loves these garbage games. So she's been dying to watch them. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
I'll do a month in October. It's spooky month, and I'll play as what. So I'm kind of obligated now. But I am, God, but then Life is Strange the 4 comes out like next
Yes.
week too.
Yeah. Is that Game
So
Pass? I think it is. Right. That's.
I don't believe
Is it
so.
not? Fuck.
I want to say
All
no.
right.
Life is Strange 3 took a while to come to
That's
Game
right.
Pass,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Right.
if
Yeah.
it might someday. But
I'm probably gonna
I
have to
love those
pick it up
games.
because yeah, me too.
Um,
I'm a huge fan.
yeah, it's been a good couple weeks for me. I don't play new games usually, but I got Legend of Mana, and then Dead Rising DR, and then that Castlevania game is definitely getting bought soon, and now Life is Strange 4. So it's been good ones.
Oh man. Yeah. This Broketober. Right. I'm spending a lot of money.
Hey, it's almost Christmas. You can ask for people in your life to buy you video
That's
games,
true. This
or at
is
least get
true.
you credit to buy video
This
games.
is a very good point.
Since people don't like buying adults presents. They're like, "Hey, here's money. Buy
Yeah.
buy things, please. Make me feel like I did something for you." At least that's how it is here.
Yeah. No, I'm with
I don't
you.
know what the culture is over there, but yeah, no. It's been garbage tober so far. Of the ones I've played so far, I would definitely suggest like Reveal was pretty good, and what was the other one? Lamentum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lamentum.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
what you been playing? You been playing much other than DLC, or?
it's a lot of small stuff. So Everspace 2, I kind of talked a little bit about last week. I grabbed the DLC for it, finished it. Did not take very long at all. But the whole thing was that there is two new things that they added with the DLC. It's called the Titan Pack. They added a Dreadnought ship with repeatable missions that you do, where a bunch of pirates have stolen a basically impregnable, like crazy powerful ship that you kind of have to hunt down and try and
Okay.
break down part by part. It's like, okay, well, we need to shut down its like interplanetary drive so it can't escape. When you shut down its like missile things, when you shut down its fleet things, it's like every time you do a slightly different thing. Yeah, it was really, really good. Um, yeah, and then the other thing is this Leviathan thing where you basically go hunting for an extinct creature that turns out not to be extinct and it eats you. And so you keep basically it's again another repeatable thing where you can kind of go and find these creatures, go inside them and do like a whole like Honey I Shrunk the Kids kind of like inside the animal thing where you got to try
Nice.
and
Okay.
like go, it's like randomly generated like little dungeons where it's like okay cool this one's got a bunch of harpoons in the side of it so pull them out and help it out and so it has like an agitation meter and so you want to try and keep that low because if you get it too high it'll vomit you out. And so you want to try
Rude.
and get through to the middle of it where it has like a pearl that you can pull out and has like loot and stuff. It's kind of just like an excuse for some more repeatable content, but it was really fun. It wasn't overly difficult. I kind of felt like I didn't really need to do it 20 times for an achievement, but it took like
Jeez.
5 or 6 hours. It wasn't overly difficult. The missions are quite short, but I'm
What
also
kind of
like
game?
finished the main story, so.
What kind of game is Everspace 2?
It it's a very arcadey space sim, but with very heavy
Oh,
looter shooter kind of things. So like
all
you,
right.
you get like a
Neat.
lot of gear, like very Borderlands style. Like hey, here's all these kinds of weapons. Here's all these kinds of ships you can use. But it's very very arcadey. Like you're like strafing and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot.
See, I was thinking like, what's that big space game that everyone plays? I forget what it's called, but
Elite
that's what I was
Dangerous.
thinking. I thought it was like a, yes, that one.
Yeah, no, it's
I was kind of
much more
envisioning
casual
that.
than that. Like it's very
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
and
cool,
you can
cool,
also
cool, cool,
put it down
cool.
on easy. Like the achievements are mostly pretty straightforward. There's only like one of their again they have like a bunch. Again, it is very much like a Diablo style repeatable, like lots of different dungeons, do different like quests and stuff.
Hmm.
There's like a rift system where you can go in and fight randomized enemies, and so there's one of them where it's like you need to crank the difficulty really high. Seemed like a really good build to do it, but everything else pretty straightforward. I really, really enjoyed it when I played through it last year. It nearly made my Game of the Year list. The only problem with it really was that one of the achievements is for like going to every area and every sector and like 100%ing all the collectibles in them, and there are just way too many of them. And it just doesn't. It just yeah. You also like need a guide. They've added some nice quality of life improvements. Some of the upgrades that you get will help you find the collectibles now. I noticed that when I jumped back into it. Because this game was in early access for quite a while. So I'm not sure if they're going to do more content for
Yeah.
it. I get the feeling they might do, which means I'll have to pick it up because it's leaving Game Pass, obviously. But I am glad that I played through it, and it was like $20 or something, $20 New Zealand for the content, so it was fucking cheap.
That works.
Moving along the DLC ladder, Persona 3 Reload, finished the DLC for that. Man, that game's fucking beautiful. I love what they've done with the engine there.
Are you gonna
Yeah,
pick up Metaphor?
yes, I will do. Yes, 100%. That's
Did you see? Speaking of news, did you see it broke all Atlas sales records?
It sold like 1 million copies in like less than 12 hours. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
which is wild. Like you'd think Persona 6 or something would
Yeah.
do that, but Metaphor, huh?
People are just
Cool.
hungry
Good for
for
them.
more Persona style content, right? Like it's been a like
Yep.
Persona 5 came out. When did Persona 5, like the original Persona 5 come out? That was a long
A
time
good
ago.
while.
And that
Before
before
I
even
really even
Royal,
realized
right?
what Persona was.
Yeah, right. I mean, Persona 5 was the one that really put it on the map in a big way. But yeah, it came out.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
came out on the PlayStation 3 and 4 in September 2016 and 2017.
Jeez. All right.
And so,
So yeah,
like,
it's been
obviously,
a bit.
Royal came out a little
Almost
bit
10
later
years.
after that. But it's been a long fucking time since we've had a new big
Yeah, that was
Persona
back
game.
when Persona and Yakuza were like the big PlayStation franchises that everyone wanted to get like jump platforms
Yep.
that probably would.
Yep.
And they both did. So yeah, it's been a long time, almost 10 years.
Yeah. So I mean, I love the Persona series. 3 is probably maybe my least favorite, but the Reload was still pretty good in terms of
Heard
like
that.
they had a lot to work with. But again, it's hard to go back when you've had a lot of stuff in the future. But the DLC was cool because it was not included in the Persona 3 Portable that they had on Game Pass a couple years ago. So this was all brand new to me. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
know anything about the story. It's more dungeon crawling stuff. No social side of it though, because obviously the whole thing is that you're trapped in the dorm. So you kind of have social
Hmm.
interactions with your party members, but there's none of the social link stuff from the main game. Took about 18 hours or so, something like that. Uh,
Okay.
it's not. I mean, you can play it on easy, and it's like you won't have any real challenge with it. But there is like a very like there's kind of like some big arena fights that you have to do that are kind of like come out of nowhere, and they're quite like difficult because they kind of change up your party members a little bit with who you can use. And it's like I ended up with a party member I don't use very often, so that was kind of a pain. But yeah, final boss was good. Story was cool. Really interesting, kind of connecting with the rest of the sort of Persona universe. Don't know if they again this was kind of it for their DLC because they had the one extra DLC pack
Yeah.
for the Persona 3 when it originally came out in like PlayStation 2. But yeah, it was kind of cool to play through. On that sort of same vein, I've also been playing through Persona 5 Tactica because I've realized that that came out in November, so it's probably leaving Game Pass pretty
Oh
soon.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm not loving it. I got to be honest. It is cool to see the characters again, but the story stuff, like this is one of the things where I've been. We talked a little bit about last week about skipping cutscenes, and I've been kind of just been like got to the end of this. I'm like, any of the so much of this is just like pointless chatter between characters. I'm like, I kind of skip. Like with this really,
Yeah, that get
it's a
old.
real shame. Like it suffers from that real Japanese thing of like needing to over explain and overdo stuff and over chat about stuff. Where I'm like,
Mm.
okay, less is more, guys. And also because like the cutscenes are mostly just like static things with text and just some voiceover. It just kind of doesn't. Yeah, it's turned into a
What
bit
kind
of a
of
slog.
tactics game is that? Is it like the like Final Fantasy Tactics style or more like a Rabbids
Uh,
Mario style?
it is grid based, but it is very much like you can run between anywhere on the grid and just kind of set yourself up anywhere within a grid.
Okay, so a little more action, like kind of like Rabbids. All right.
Yeah, definitely. And
The less
there's
fun
a real
one, in
focus
my idea.
on cover mechanics. So if you shoot someone, if there's someone who's outside of cover and you shoot them, you get another turn with that character. So like if you can string them
Okay.
together, you can basically like run from one side of the map to the other. And there are some challenge missions that are like, okay, make sure you navigate these guys into situations where they're out of cover, so you can shoot them and get an extra turn with your character.
Hmm.
It's yeah, and so it has a
All
couple of
right.
like interesting ideas, but it kind of doesn't really lean on the persona stuff super great from a mechanical point of view because you get the one persona per character you can equip, and it gives them like a one extra ability, and that's it. Like you don't, it's a much more simplified version of the sort of persona stuff because I guess you can't have like a whole persona roster changing abilities when it's a tactics game as opposed to a more standard JRPG.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, like so I understand why they've done it. Also, you can play it on easy. Like I've been not struggling with any of the fights really. The challenge, some of the challenge, like the quests, were quite difficult. They're like, hey, defeat all of these enemies in a single turn. So you got to like actually quite think quite tactically around like what
Ooh.
mechanics you have.
Yeah.
There's some fun stuff around like using abilities to pull people out of cover or using melee abilities to knock people across like across squares into other like danger zones and stuff. So there definitely is some complexity there. But there's 52 missions. I'm at like the final boss, so I'm doing like cleanup, and then I have to do like a new game plus playthrough. But that should be pretty fucking easy. That shouldn't be no problem. Uh,
God,
yeah, I don't
last time I
know.
played a game like that was Operation Darkness. It's been
Oh
a
my
while
god.
since I played a game like that.
Yeah, I haven't thought about Operation Darkness in a long time. That was the one with the werewolves, right?
But yeah, yeah, the werewolves, the Nazis. Yeah, that one.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big tactics guy myself, but I do like Persona, so I figured I'd give it a try. And it's a really easy completion. Like it's like a it's got like a 2.0
Yeah, you
ratio,
got my attention.
but it hasn't been announced to be leaving Game Pass, but it did come out in like mid-November last year, so I get the feeling that it'll probably, if
Huh.
it's not on this next one, it'll probably be on the one after. So yeah, but it is very much a sequel to Persona 5, so there are some spoilers. I mean, you have all the main cast and everything, and kind of all their abilities and stuff. So and they do reference the events of the previous game.
Right, like,
Um, well,
45, 50 hours.
yeah, less than that. Really, it's like 20 to 30. You'll be fine. Um,
All right.
yeah, I'm like 18 hours in and I'm at the final boss, and then I'm going to just skip through all the cutscenes in my second playthrough, so it'd probably take me about 25, 30 hours. And there's plenty of guides out there. Also, like no missables, which is great. You can kind of replay missions whenever you want.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah, it's really well thought out. I haven't had to use a guide for a lot of it, which is great. Um, Also, just we'll rattle off some other DLC. Did the last Remnant 2 DLC with Cameron. Just did that over the last couple of nights. Really straightforward. It's the third of the bunch, so each of the DLCs are basically doing like a revised version of one of the worlds you go to. So this was looks like the last one. Adds in a little glider mechanic that's kind of fun. The areas were quite large and kind of sprawling, which is interesting. Like you didn't feel like you were just running around or running from point A to point B. There was a bit more of the sort of exploration stuff going on, which was fun. Wolfenstein 2 DLC, I've been going back to that. Kind of finished the story for the first and second one, and working on the third one. They're only like 3 missions each, they're not very long. You do have to do Mein Leben difficulty, but you can do it on like the third mission of each of them, so at least it's not nearly as bad as the main game.
Okay. Yeah.
There are some challenge stuff to do, but it's been one of those things where I've actually been enjoying playing through it again. I feel like the structure of the missions are a bit better than kind of what's in the base game. The base game is a bit more sprawling and kind of open worldy, or like semi-open worldy in a way that I just don't really feel like works for Wolfenstein. But yeah, I'm going to try and get as much of that done as possible because we're in the DLC month, and I'm also just kind of looking at what I have left from the DLC front. Also went back to Dredge, one of Cameron's favorite games, the Eldritch horror fishing game.
Being spooky. Yeah, I almost started that this month.
It's great. Yeah,
Still
it's really, really good. You can also turn off the spooky.
Looks right up my alley.
If you just want it to be visually spooky and not visually fuck you up,
Dare you?
you can just put it on passive mode and just kind of have like a fun fishing adventure while looking at spooky fish. But yeah, they had 2 DLCs. It looks like they're kind of done with that too. There was one that was an ice flow kind of thing where there's a narwhal that tries to hunt you down, and the other one is an oil rig that kind of makes you go back to the original islands, but with new kind of oil infected fish and that kind of stuff. There's some fun things that happen there. Both of them were pretty straightforward, nothing major, but there was some good fun extra content. They were apparently originally were like cut content from the base game, so they do kind of fit in pretty seamlessly. And I finished up Age of Mythology Retold, which again Cameron will be happy about. Just kind of grindy stuff for those achievements.
He just perked up somewhere. He's like, what?
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was good fun, but it is very much like old style game. Like Cameron and I were kind of talking about Game of the Year's chat and whether this wants to go on the list or not, because it really is just the same game again with some quality of life improvements. But it is cool. Like again, I haven't played it in a very, very long time, so it was cool to go back to it. Also, you can use cheats for most of the missions, so you can skip a lot of the stuff if you just don't really feel like doing it or you get bored. With
Always
something.
nice.
You basically only have to do like the first and last mission of each campaign, really. So pretty straightforward. Anyway, yeah, so my throat is killing me because that's a lot of talking. So I've been doing a lot of small stuff. I'm going to try and finish up the Wolfenstein DLC, and then I'm thinking, DLC-wise, I'm kind of getting towards the end of what I have available to me. So I'm probably going to do... I'm thinking about doing Prey, the Prey Mooncrash DLC. That's a big
That's interesting.
roguelike mode. It's interesting. I've played it a little bit before, but I'm not... Again, I don't really like roguelike modes, so I'm kind of umming and ahhing about it. I also did the new Forza Horizon 5 DLC, the hide and seek stuff. Really, really straightforward. You can play it. You just have to play like 50 matches and just not quit out of any of them. It's the hide and seek thing, so it's like, hey, 5v1. And so I can see why they did a lot of the stuff. They put one achievement in for driving a certain amount, so you don't just idle. They put one achievement in for playing 50 matches without quitting out, because a bunch of, like, already saw this in the game. People are like, oh, I'm not the hider, I'm the seeker, I'm one of the seekers, I'm just going to quit. Because in the same way that like Dead by Daylight's like, oh, I'm not the murderer, I'm not interested, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, yeah, play these things, do these abilities, like actually play these games, try to get it. You only have to get one win as the seeker and one win as the hider. And the hider almost always wins. Like, they have huge advantages. So there's only one achievement that's difficult, which is for you, as the hider, using the chase breaker on 20 people in one match, which is kind of way too many, because if you're doing that, you're being spotted too often. Because the matches are quite short. They're like 8 minutes tops. So it's like, you would basically have to, so we put a boosting lobby together and got it in like an hour or two. It was really straightforward. So I would definitely recommend getting on TA and doing that while people are trying to get this done, because getting a group of 6 together is a bit of a pain. But, our community would be more than happy to jump on and help out with that. It's got some cloud streaming, so... but that's pretty much all I've been playing. Actually, there was a late breaking news story that I didn't put in this that I just saw. Apparently, The Verge has said that as early as next month, at least for Xbox insiders, cloud gaming is coming for all games. So all the games that you own are going to be playable through cloud, as opposed to just the Game Pass library.
Oh, that's right, because the whole Android monopoly thing got broken up finally.
Yep. So it looks like...
Right, that's going to open up a lot of avenues.
Now that they're releasing on mobile, basically, they're going to have streaming available, so you could buy a game on mobile and stream it immediately. So, again, I think it's only insiders, but it's really cool that that's finally happening, because it is a bit limited. Like, we've got huge libraries. Both Shane and I, fucking thousands of games. It'd be really great if we could play them all, rather than just the Game Pass stuff. But you complete your game, Shane, so there's nothing to worry about there.
Also fair. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to go back to
Yep.
something.
Yep. One of those games.
Starting something new, I guess. That works.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we've been playing, which is again quite a bit, but smaller stuff. I'm kind of curious what the next couple of weeks are going to look like because I'm itching to buy some new games. I got to be honest, like I got a whole bone in my pocket of like, ooh, I should pick up like Metaphor, and I was actually talking about this with Cameron and Stubby yesterday around like, if we're going to do Game of the Year chat, probably going to have to pick up Metaphor, probably going to have to pick up Dragon's Dogma, probably going to have to pick up Life is Strange. I do really want to play like
A lot this year.
Unicorn Overlord, and oh man, there's just there's a few things in there that just didn't come to Game
Star Wars
Pass.
Outlaws. I
Yeah,
mean, some real good quality GT.
yeah.
What?
I mean that's on Ubisoft Plus at least, so I can wait for that.
That's fair. Oh yeah, Avatar. I probably like that more. I
I
think
need to do the DLC for Avatar
that
as
was last
well.
year though, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
the Avatar was last year, but Prince of Persia was this year.
This all
So
makes no sense.
yeah,
Ooh, see that? I almost bought that day one.
it's
I was
good.
like, this looks
It's
good, but
really good, but I would just pick up Ubisoft Plus for like a month, play through it, because I think the DLC is included as well. So
yes.
that's probably what I'm going to do. But yeah, that's all we've been playing, I guess. Let's get into the leaderboards. So leaderboards are a little quieter this week, but not by much. Sorry, I'll just pull them up. I've just exited out of it. In third place, we have Martel with 17,377. In second place, we have a Grey Shark with 45,915. And just beating him out is Jimbot UK with 25,410. Jesus Christ. Some of these, I mean, again, they are playing a lot of trash, but they put up so much.
They are.
I mean, there's so much more trash every day. They just keep putting it out. It's unbelievable. I'm glad that I got off that train because, oof.
Yeah, playing some of these garbage horror games, I'm like, wow, I could probably blow through most of these in if I stayed home from work like a day.
Yeah.
And that's insane. And I don't know why people do that to themselves because I would no.
Nah,
I can see why people get burnt out. That's not fun.
it's just not worth it.
Nope.
Yeah. Have you got the trailer up by any chance? Um,
Huh?
otherwise,
Yeah.
hey, got there. Do you want to read through completions?
I'm prepared. I know. All right, completions this week is Left for Legacy did Match Point Tennis Championships. Splice did Fantasy 4. Oh, the Pixel remasters, I'm assuming.
Yep.
The GT the Moon Zom did Dead Space 3. That's a fun one, at least in
He
co-op.
did the DLC for that as well. to
Keo
finish that up.
did Forza Horizon 3. Uh, L4D Left 4 Dead Pills here did Broforce. Rapture did Hood Outlaws and Legends. Is that the survival one on
It's the
Game
5e. I think
Pass?
it's the player versus environment one that's getting shut down.
Oh, now I'm thinking of that.
No, not that. Yeah, not the
Oh,
other one.
good. That's right. That's getting shut down. And then the Moon Zom did We Love Katamari, which is awesome. So good job.
Yeah, great job, guys.
Great game.
Yeah. We Love Katamari in particular is really, really good. I think it's actually probably better than the original. Yeah, I've got the I fucking had the soundtrack in my head all day. There's also the word challenge. So, like I said, Stubby got it last week with Warrior Within. Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within. So good to him. I need to send him some money. But I come up with a new one, and I've given you a really unhelpful clue because fuck you guys. You guys are getting it too easy. This game has lots of trees. That's it. That's all you get. A lot of trees. It's just trees. Trees.
The Witness has a lot of trees.
It's a big part of trees.
Maybe it's not.
I don't know. The Witness doesn't have any trees as far as I'm concerned.
There's a lot of trees.
I never actually played it, so I don't know. Yeah, we've also got our Patreons, patreon.com/rollergamers if you want to help support the show. We put all of our extra content. I know we've been light on it. We've been very busy, unfortunately. But a huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavaliero 7, Old Mate Clown, Mark B, McLovin, no, McLovin's not on there anymore. Mark B, Mars Edge, Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. Huge thank you to you guys. We could not afford to do the show without you. I know because I check the bill every month. Because fucking Buzzsprout are not cheap to use. We've also got our Discord, as I kind of mentioned at the top of the show. Come join our Discord. If you need an invite, let me know. I put it on our TA. I would tell you it, but it's a collection of characters. It's not very, very helpful. I need to have it like show up on the screen or something. I need to have it as part of... I'll put it on the banner or something. I'll get Cameron to put that up there. That's a good idea.
It's a quick button.
Yeah, just get a button or something. Exactly. That's the way to go. And as always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat, shitpost, the usual business. We love the community interaction. And that's going to bring us to the end of the show. It's a bit of a short one this week, but things are a little quiet out there. Hopefully they kind of pick up, and we have more to talk about in the next few episodes. But yeah, Shane, you're doing some streaming and stuff. What are you up to?
Yeah, if you want to just get a quick link, you can go to firehawkd.com, letter D. Otherwise, I'm FirehawkD_Xbox on Twitch, FirehawkD on YouTube, FirehawkD actually spelled out with spaces on Xbox. Yeah, if you want, I'm trying to make more content as much as I possibly can. I've got like a video a day now on YouTube. I'm trying.
That's crazy.
And I'm getting all these
Yeah.
playthroughs up for the stupid horror thing and whatever. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself.
Horror's beyond comprehension, you know? Some of these video games.
It's so much fun though.
Yeah, right.
Like, make a thumbnail, you get to make cool art and stuff.
That's one of my favorite
Best
things
part
about
of
the
it.
show is getting Char to help with the thumbnail and coming up with like a really shitty title. It's it's just the creative process.
Well, they're great titles. What are you talking about?
I got to come up with one for this week as well, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord for whatever reason. If you want to contact me, I don't really do any streaming or anything, but the Discord is definitely the place to hit me up. But that's been episode 144. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Also, you can catch this VOD on YouTube or the old episodes there as well if you're an audio-only listener, and you will see our beautiful faces. Thank you all for joining us. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye.